Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, do you see my screen? Okay, great. So yeah, the topic for today's session is reflecting on VR enhanced T group and feedback sessions. And we believe that that's a path to DEIB, diversity, inclusion, diverse equity, inclusion, and belongingness. The reason is related to what I mentioned in the earlier session, because in order for us to promote DEI and DE, it is important for us to understand each other and also to pursue self-actualization. So for that, self-reflection is critical. So we took the T-group approach to reach DEI. So here we have, as Isa shared, we have 4 presenters, including me and I-Ming Chen, Yu-Ling Chang, and Hosung You. And each one of us will take turns and share some key elements of what we have done. But this journey started with the course called Facilitating Organization Development and Change Through Technology. And it was about maybe 4 years ago, before COVID. And I-Ming was a visiting scholar here from NTNU. And one of my assignments was to bring a technology gadget into the classroom and share what that is. And I-Ming brought the 360-degree camera in to the classroom and demonstrated how that works. And yeah, that was the beginning of this initiative. And I-Ming and I started to talk about how we could utilize a 360 camera for organization development and change. And we found out that perhaps the T group might be a great candidate for this initiative. And we have 3 objectives. One is for you to understand what T group is. Probably some of you may not be familiar with T group, what T group is, and how that's connected to DEIB. And also, we'd like to share how VR, virtual reality enhanced T group, can facilitate self-understanding and emotional intelligence. We have some evidence as well. But what we mean by VR enhanced T group is by using 360-degree camera, and also by replaying the session through, and there are also observers to provide also who can provide feedback to the participants. So we will explain how that went and what the results are, preliminary results are. And then the last objective is for us to brainstorm how we could utilize this type of technology to enhance DEIB. All right. So yeah, here's I-Ming. Let's hear from listen to I-Ming about T group intervention.
All right, good morning. My name is I-Ming from National Taiwan Normal University in Taiwan. I'm honored to be here with you today. So before starting, I think I would like to share a very short story to you. This morning, I just installed a traditional low-tech knocker on my door. Do you know why? Because I hope someday I can win the Nobel Prize. All right, so let's start with some background on T group. The term T group was first coined by Kurt Lewin, who is considered the father of modern social psychology. And he created the first T group in the 1940s during his work with the National Training Laboratories, also called NTL. And the T group involved face-to-face interaction in a non-judgmental and a supportive environment to help individuals understand their own behavior and communication styles, and also the impact their behavior has on others. So the focus is on the here and now as the characteristics, one of the characteristics, and also the immediate feedback that participants receive from others. The format of T group implementation is quite unique. It usually involves a small group of individuals, around 5 to 12 people, who are brought together to engage in unstructured discussion and activities to encourage participants to express themselves freely and honestly. So the group is facilitated basically by one or two facilitators who observe the group dynamics and also provide feedback to the participants. And the duration of the T group training is not fixed, right? It can be varied and depending on the programs and the organization. So it can range from a few hours or to several days or weeks and so on. And also one of the most notable characteristics of T group is its emphasis on experiential learning, which means that the participants are encouraged to engage in real-time interaction and receive immediate feedback from others. And of course, it's under the non-judgmental and the supportive environment being created. So this approach is highly effective in promoting self-awareness, empathy, and understanding of others. So we believe that it is one of the bases for the EDIB setting and the path to the EDIB. And T group is also known for its non-hierarchical structure. So which means that the participant can provide a chance to share their thoughts, their opinions without the fear of judgment or the retribution or criticism, to explore their own feelings, thoughts, and beliefs, and to challenge their assumption and bias they have. And also the participants are encouraged to practice active learning, active listening, giving and receiving feedback, and also express themselves in a clear and respectful manner, which is quite important. And through this exercise, participants develop a greater empathy and understanding for others and learn how to work effectively in a group setting. So simply put, from all the characteristics on an exercise of T group we have just mentioned, we can discover there's one thing, that giving and receiving high quality feedback plays an important role in success of the exercise in the T group. But then it comes along with another question, right? And how can we better the quality of the feedback mechanism? And is it possible for technology can help us? In Dr. Yun, this all beliefs, right?
Yeah. Okay. So we, after developing the agenda for the T group, and we developed, crafted our beliefs to communicate about what our T group would be. So yeah, we articulated 3 different beliefs. First one is, as you can see, everyone has a blind spot in their self-knowledge, which could be either their potential and roadblock. So we expected everyone will come into the room to have the expectation to understand their blind spots for their further self-development. And second one is uncovering we uncover these blind spots through quality feedback to enhance their growth. So again, I-Ming mentioned the importance of feedback, and this was to set the expectation that we will exchange quality feedback, honest feedback. And it was also to set the stage that it could be critical feedback at times, but given the fact that we aim for self-growth, probably that would be okay from the perspective of the participants. So, and the third one is also related. We believe that genuine interactions nurture positive relationships. So we wanted the participants to be as genuine as possible. And even if they receive critical or criticisms, although we try to nurture positive atmosphere, let's say sometimes criticisms are necessary to help them to find blind spots. So even if you get criticized, it is important for you to understand the purpose purpose of it is for your development. So here's how our T group session was different. So I-Ming will explain how ours was different. You're on mute, I-Ming.
Just like what we just mentioned, we're trying to figure out some innovative way to get a better feedback mechanism from the participants so that we can have a further improvement for the interaction and self-development. So we found out there's a technology called 360-degree camera. And this is kind of camera that we can apply to facilitate the quality of feedback mechanism. So here they're in the 360-degree video, which is a type of a video that allow the viewers to see a 360-degree view of the scene as if they were physically present in the environment. And also, well, this kind of video is shot using a special camera, which is the picture that you can see on the screen. Usually this kind of camera, they compose of either at least 2 lens or more lens. Right? And to capture the full 360-degree view of a scene, including everything above, below, and around the camera. It'll be easier for the participants that could do the review and also to give the feedback with some specific scene they recorded. Right? So that we can elaborate the quality or giving or receiving the feedback. So then watching a 360-degree video, the viewers can either use a VR headset if they have, or they can just view it through the computer or the mobile devices to control their perspective with the video. It's very convenient and quite useful. And somehow when we try to, when we either receiving or giving a feedback, it kind of to focus on one thing, we may have some kind of tunnel view. So we may ignore the rest of the things that happen surrounding. So with these devices, they can help us to get those things back and help us to realize what's going on while we're in the tunnel view moment. So this means that the viewer can look up in a very different ways. So somehow you can just even zoom in or zoom out and explore entire scene. So we can conclude a very simple way that of this technology that we can take the advantage from this camera, which is this kind of technology can provide an immersive experience. So that with the 360-degree camera, it captures the full view of scene, of course, providing an immersive experience for the viewers. If you use the headset, yeah, it'll be easier for them to have a feeling kind of immersive experience. And also, the features is the panoramic view of this video. Yes, it capture the panoramic view, so that allow us to see the entire scene in the whole environment, either in a single image or it can play as a video, so that we won't miss any crucial moments during the interaction in the T group. So that will be very, very helpful. And the last one is versatility, which means that this kind of technology is not very special in a particular industry or in field, which means that you can use it in a varied application we can see nowadays. So that it will bring us another, for example, in a virtual tour, you can see from the website, or the real estates, they use it to show the houses they're trying to sell, or in the sports or some events, huge events. So that means that making this kind of tools, versatile tools, that can help us to easily apply and also easy to access for the users. Right? So it's very helpful for the practitioners, especially for some people, they are not very familiar with the technologies. These kind of devices are very easy to approach. Right? So these are the advantage that we could take from this technology. And from the picture we can see on the screen, there are two kind of camera. And the left one, the left one is the one we've initially used in our setting for TGroup. It has more than, I remember they have more than 6 lenses, their lens, but they can capture very high quality images and videos. But the pitfall is that it's too big. It's too obvious for the participants. So when we received the feedback from the participants saying that it's very difficult to ignore these kind of devices standing in the middle of the group, and they bring them kind of nervous because some people watching them, recording them, right? So they make them not easy to get relaxed and indulge in the environment, right? So that's the pitfall of this kind of big devices.
Yeah, in the size, let me interrupt. The size was a little bit smaller than a soccer ball. And so it's, and then there was sound coming out of the device. So that was disturbing. So we chose, I-Ming, you can keep going.
Okay. And yeah, I'll follow up the sound. The sound is coming from the fan. They try to cool it down the machine. Since they have 8 camera, 8 lens shooting at the same time and composing in one picture, and then live streaming to the website. So it will generate heat. So that's why the machine keep making noises, some sounds, and also it's very annoying and disturbing. Right. And then we find out that since we get the feedback from the group, from the participants, we try to of course, thanks to the development of technology, we find out there's another devices like a smaller and easier, so that they will lower down the fearness of and nervousness of the participants. They will just maybe just tiny ear over there standing there. They won't sense it easily. So it help us to also facilitate the exercise and the processing of the whole T group things. It's very, very helpful. So that's the one device that we apply later. From we can see from the PowerPoint, it's the right side one. It's much smaller. So that's a story of the devices, and there's also an advantage that we could take from the development of technology. And the next would be, this is what I just summarized. That's the features. So next, Yu-Ling will share, continue to sharing the story to us. So let's welcome
Hello,
Yu-Ling.
everyone. Yeah, thank you, Yu-Ling. Hello, everyone. My name is Yu-Ling Chang. I am a Ph.D. candidate from Penn State Workforce Education and Development, focusing on human resource development and organization development. I would like to share with you our real-world experience of implementing this VR 360 camera in the T-Group session to help people getting a deeper understanding about themselves and also about other people and also their interactions with other people. The story starts from our Masters of Professional Studies in Organization Development Change Program, where you can get your master degree in organization development, no matter where you are in the world. Next slide, please. Our NPS OD&C program actually offers vertical training on OD essentials, OD consulting, OD analytics, and many of innovative courses like this one. Facilitating organization development and change through technology developed by Dr. Yoon and I about 2 years ago. One exciting course activity that we have is to use these VR 360 cameras embedded in a T-Group session. This activity is facilitated in 3 steps. Step 1, we facilitate the T group session in person with the VR 360-degree camera set up to capture what happened with all the details in the room, 360 degree. And step 2, we will watch the recorded 360-degree video and re-examine, observe, and reflect on the video. You can see yourself, and also you can scroll to everywhere, different angles, replay, and go back and forth to grasp all the details, what happened actually in the room, in the social scenario when you were on site. And then participate in a feedback session, sharing what you observe and hear the feedback from other people as well. Finally, step 3, reflect on everything you learned about yourself, about other people, and also about your interaction with other people, with the experience, as well as the potentials that you see with this technology. So, next slide.
Let me add one aspect. In addition to us, like participants replaying and rewatching the T group session, we had the students who are taking this course, Workforce Ed 876 course, to watch the T group session as an observer, and we had a separate feedback session scheduled. So the participants, receive feedback from the observers as well. And yeah, we will share how that went soon.
Yes. So here are some pictures showing you how we set up the T group room, which allows people to sit in the circle, as you see here, to talk to each other without any blockage. Very natural. So also you see in the middle, there is a VR 360-degree camera in the middle, and it's very thin. You can barely feel it's there. Also, for each person, we can have a side table to take notes as well. And in front, you can see, slide, yeah, in front, you can see that there is a clock set up, and you may wonder why we need a clock. It's a top secret, so I will talk to you about that later. But as you see that we also understand that not everyone feels comfortable to be filmed, and even they do, we need to be responsible for the data and be clear about where it will be kept, it will be shared, and also overall how we will deal with it. So as you see, we prepare some consent forms with the declaration about all of these details and also the participants' rights and also their responsibility for them to sign up before they start the session. Finally, you may ask a question. What do you mean by taking notes during the T group session, right? So are we just sitting there and talk? So this is the notes that we ask the participant to take when they are in the session. So remember that one of the purpose is to get out of from this T group session is to learn about the feedback. So in order to be ready for providing feedback, it would be good that you write down what you observe and the timestamp, the exact time when your observation occurred. So that's why the clock comes in. This is particularly helpful because when you go back to watch the video, you know where to focus on, especially, right? And also, believe it or not, there are things that I found myself completely misunderstood when I was in the room, and also when I realized that later after I watched the recorded video. So it's like watching a Netflix series multiple times, and every time you can find something different. It may be something that you missed, or something that you misunderstood, and something that you may never happen, but your poor memory just made it up, right? So overall, it's all about increasing your understanding about you and about other people and about you and other people in an interactive and also social context with such reflective process assisted by technology. So following this, let's watch a short video clip to see how the T group looks like in the 360-degree video.
Okay, so before that, I wanted to add, this feedback sheet was shared with the students as well, observers as well, so that they can take notes and so on, so that when they come to the feedback session, they can point out the timestamp and who said what and so on. So here's the video clip, but I think I need to reshare the screen just to make sure the sound will be coming through. Just a moment. As you can see, you see the timestamp here. Yeah, the observers were able to watch this.
I feel that I had similar thought process before because my master degree was in counseling. I get into that program is because it's part of my work project to develop assessment. So we have different tracks. So I focus on assessment, but at the same time, I need to take the courses about counseling with other counseling students too. And most of them.
I'm moving my screen, and you can do this way, or you can wear VR goggles to see where you want to see. There's one person here didn't get his consent.
I don't know, just there is another option there, so I thought about that. But at the same time, I had a similar feeling that I feel like I am not strong enough to take in all this negative or the trouble client. I feel, yeah, I probably will cry together with that. So I don't think I can capable of doing it. But at the same time, I didn't know that I was that talked to. It's not me. Oh yeah, it's me.
Okay, this one. All right. So here, let's hear from one student who attended the feedback session and as an observer. So this is her experience. Short, maybe 30 to 40-second reflection.
I think when you told that story, it made me do a lot of reflection on my past and even going through it myself. So I just, all I wanted to say was I really appreciate that you shared that story, because I think a lot of people maybe can relate to that story, right? So especially females, maybe, I don't know, maybe possibly a lot of men, but yeah. So I think that story meant a lot to me and will for others. So I think if you use that again in other scenarios, situations, you'll find that there'll be a lot of positive feedback on it. So
yeah, so some people mentioned, those observers mentioned that they felt they are in the room and they wanted to speak something, but because they were observers, they couldn't speak. But they felt that they are one of the participants. So that was very, very positive.
I think when you told me.
Next. And this is a reflection from the participants and one of the presenters, and Hosung will be speaking about the impact here. But this is a reflection captured right after at the feedback session. So let's hear from him just a little bit.
Kind of life-changing moment for me because of the feedback that I never thought about that too.
Yeah, and then
kind of life-changing.
Yeah, this is Yu-Ling's reflection. Let's see. So you see her happy face, and it's about 1 minute long. But our initial plan was to have our own reflection here, live reflection. But because it captured that moment, how happy she was, I think I thought that this would be very, very good to share.
So yeah, I really appreciate this opportunity to be part of this project, and I learned a lot from it. And thank you for Dr. Yoon's leading this group, and also I appreciate all the participants at the spot. I can feel the sincerity, and you are really making efforts to make it happen. And yeah, I really appreciate that. And also thank you all for your time watching the long videos. Sharing your feedback here is really helpful. Yeah, it's very exciting to see how this course come along since we developed it at the first. And I totally agree that we can see more development or more opportunity that who knows, now we use 360 camera plus T group and maybe we can plus appreciate inquiry in the future, you know. So yeah, it's really exciting to see how it can evolve and yeah, keep going. So thank you all for your participation and your valuable feedback. So yeah,
I'm having a hard time advancing. So this is my reflection. I was the facilitator, so let's watch. Reflection would be, let's see, I'm pleasantly, oops. I'm pleasantly surprised by the reaction. Like I think you got more out of it than what I thought. So I really appreciate your participation and feedback, and also the takeaways that you are getting right now. Here, like in the future, like, this one was supposed to be kind of experimental, and as I shared in my announcement, typical T group lasts 4 days, maybe 2 days, typical 2 days and 3 days and so on. So we only spent an hour and 30 minutes or so. So I was reflection. Yeah, so yeah, those are some of our reflections. And yeah, remember that we only spent about 1 hour and 30 minutes. Our original plan was to spend up to 3 hours, but at 1 hour 30 minutes point, we thought that was enough for this purpose. And but we had about 2-hour long feedback session. And for all those, we use pre-test, post-test right after the T group session, and another post-test right after the feedback session. For all those, we used these 4 measures. So one was to check the empathy using Toronto Empathy Questionnaire, and then self-reflection and insight scale, situational self-awareness. As you can see, many of those were related to self-understanding and also empathy. And ego, we chose ego defense also because it is important for you to be non-defensive in order to participate in TGroup effectively, also to develop yourself further. Hosung will share some of the partial results regarding this T group session. So Hosung, would you share this part?
Yeah. So we designed several skills which helps the T group sessions are helpful to the participants, and how strong empathy they have and how strongly they understand themselves or other selves too. But yeah, we got some positive results. We tested it 3 times: pre, post 1, and post 2. Pre was tested before when the session started, and post 1 was tested right after sessions closed, and the post 2 was tested after finishing our feedback session. There was both favorable implication and limitation. First, positive outcomes were derived for several items that we tested. So one is the TEQ 14 and one is the SRI 18. This is the mean data for each item. So as we tried 3 times, the x-axis was divided into pre, post 1, post 2. So as times go by, the mean data of the TQ14 increased 2 times. Before T group session, we can suppose that people couldn't easily to be sympathetic, but right after the sessions finish it, so the people will be sympathetic and understand how the others feel, and the further with the feedback session, as a participants, they could understand themselves and the personal anxiety of the other persons as well. And the self-reflection and when we looking at the SRI for 18, the thing is when the post test when the right after session was ended, the kind of the feeling about the other person or themselves is going to be lower, because the post test of the result is 4.25. It means that the feeling about themselves was going lower, because it's the reverse they called it. But after post 2, it's going to be the figure was going to be lower. It means that we can feel ourselves confident, or how they know how they feel, right? So it's been weird, but yeah, we can suppose that post test after feedback session, after the receiving others' reflection, we could understand ourselves and how we should take advantage of the reflection, and how we should feel empathy, or how should we take ourselves, like, yeah, how should we take ourselves as a individual.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Hosung. So this right-hand side graph is a bit more interesting. My interpretation is that after the T group session, the score increased, meaning it's not a good thing, right? So my understanding is, so they became more difficult to make sense of the way I feel about things. So my interpretation is that by participant feedback, some participants may have felt their difficulty in empathizing with others. Maybe. So that's my guess. But during the feedback session, they heard about other people's perspective. They watched their videos, their actions again, and I noticed that the participants felt more comfortable about themselves and their ability to relate to others. So maybe that's my assumption, that that's how the score has decreased at post-test 2. All right, so we were supposed to have a discussion, but because of the time, we can combine this discussion with the Q&A. So the discussion question is, how can we use this type of T group sessions? It can be using 360 video recording outside of T group context, but we can stay with the T group context to enhance the DEIB. So that's a discussion question. So you can either answer to this question or ask questions to us. So what possibilities do you see? So I know here Dr. David Jamieson is here, highly well-known and highly experienced OD consultant. Dave, do you have T-group experiences, right? You've offered T-group and so on. So I would like to hear from you, if that's okay with you.
Well, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy to speak up. I really want to congratulate you all for even undertaking this kind of a project, because there's a couple of thoughts that as I was listening to you. Number one is T groups and variations of T groups are still one of the best containers in which people learn about themselves and each other. So when they're run well, that's a place where people get out of their normal life and get focused on themselves and the others that they're in that experience with. And so one thing that's happens in that's so powerful is people learn how to self-disclose things and share with others, which a lot of people hold back on. And then the other one is it is the container for feedback. It is the place where people say, here's what your impact on me was like, or here's what I thought was happening, or here's how I felt. And so the idea of self-disclosure and feedback are the two ends of how we build self-awareness. So to me, those are the two things that help people learn self-awareness. So if you can create a space where this occurs, plus you record it, because memories aren't as good as the cameras. So it's nice sometimes for people to be able to go back and see, oh, now I see what you're saying to me. I didn't realize that's how I was coming across. And so the recording of it is something that is definitely was never around in 90% of the T groups, but it is nice that we could now use the technology in a new way. So I was quite impressed with all that you were doing here. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much.
There is a question from Leave Perter. Am I pronouncing well? Sorry for that. So where do you see this idea as being most effective in the future? Dr. Yuan,
Yeah, I think it can not only be useful for T group, but I think with consent, OD practitioners can be meeting facility, or not meeting facility, meeting optimization consultant, something like that. So let's say if a board of directors give consent to be recorded, for their meeting to be recorded, we can have 360 camera in the board meeting, and then record 1 hour long session. And the OD consultant or observer, there can be multiple observers also, who do not necessarily to be in the room, observe it, give individualized feedback to those executives. That can be very, very powerful, because if we change leaders, many things will change. So that's one application that I've been thinking.
Can I add one thought with the near future or some more further futures scenery? I'd like to suggest some idea for the virtual ones, because within our near future, our virtual workplace is developed very rapidly. Will be developed rapidly. Like, we are not actually in the same place, but we can feel and get in touch with the others easily, and we can feel the others' presence within just one room, and within you, like, we are using the avatars, but even when we are using the 360-degree cameras, like viewpoint is not kind of cameras, but it's going to be a viewpoint. We can see each other's perspective easily, so we can share the idea, and we can feel their face or the expressions easily. Yeah, and kind of that.
And how do you pronounce your name? Eli? So maybe
It's I-Live. It's I-Live.
Eileen, okay.
Yes.
Okay, Eileen, okay. So I can ask the same question to you. So what do you see as some of the possibilities watching this?
I'm listening and I'm like, oh wow, that could be revolutionizing classrooms in the future in terms of
Oh, wow, great.
I was looking at, the way that the high school teenagers are now acting with being centered in a classroom. And I've always been saying we need to change what classrooms look like because I don't think the students lack intelligence. I just think they're really, really bored with what we are doing, which is, okay, we're no longer preparing them for factories. Why are we still teaching like we are preparing clerks and managers and supervisors to go into factories? So just saying that, oh God, my battery's died. Let me see if I find my charger. Just looking at this here, I'm like, wow, does that look like the future of a classroom?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
students, working and giving their opinions and then looking back and evaluating their work and even making it easier for the teacher who's now being tirelessly trying to put bad papers together that are useless to me right now. Being a creative educator in the classroom, the work that I'm seeing is now, to me, it's useless. And I keep talking about it's not the students' lack of intelligence. It's just that they are now, because of technology, way ahead of their time. And they are really just bored with what we are doing. We still want them to write in a certain way and speak in a certain way and do things in a certain way, which is no longer the norm of the world. So I'm thinking, can we now use that same idea in having teachers get involved in their educating of getting ready for the classrooms? That could be one of the compulsory classes that should be taught to them. Because I think technology has to take a stand in education. AI has to take a stand in education as well. And that was just like the dream idea that I was having while listening to all of your
That's
talking
great.
about this.
Wonderful idea. And one of the starting points was that developing VR based applications or scenarios and so on takes time and human resources. We need to hire actors to act on certain things. It's costly. But if you what you need for this type of application is camera and replaying, and everyone will be participating lively. We don't have to pay for their participation. They might need to pay, but I don't know. So it can be a very highly cost-effective way to initiate change. All right.
I think Dr. Yoon will read the time if you have conclusion or summary.
Yeah, I think I just did the conclusion. Yes, you can take a look at this screen. If you are interested in connecting with us, you can maybe take a photo of it, look at the QR code. But otherwise, I think we are done. But maybe we are officially done right now. So Isa, you can stop recording. But if any participant wants to share anything, maybe we can share.